Hey everyone, it's Jennifer. Today I have another product release close-up video for you. This is where I take a release from a company and show you all the products in it, along with some ideas for using them. I only do this if I really think a release is outstanding, and this new one from My Favorite Things really fits the bill. So there are lots of products in here. There are stamps, dies, stencils, and background stamps, and I really like everything I see, so I wanted to be able to show that all to you. There's a fabulous variety of stamps here, and many of them really would work great for techniques. Now before I start, I wanted to say if you see a set like this one where all the images are stamped where I stamp these by hand and they're kind of messy, that's because I modify the tall stamp sets to fit into my sleeves. And I'll link here to a video that describes that, but if you were to buy it, it would look nice and tidy. So this first stamp set is Thankful Thoughts. I think this is an awesome sentiment set. I just love how big the images are. What I plan to do with this is stamp it with a super light ink and trace over it with watercolor or with Copic markers to kind of blend from one color to another for a really simple card. Or you can just use it for a big bold sentiment on a card. They also have this die set called Words of Gratitude, and if you look here you'll see that the words are all the same and they line up nicely with the stamp set. So what I see doing with these is just die cutting these from maybe a watercolor background. Just have fun doing lots of watercolor or stamping on a piece of paper and then die cut a bunch of these sentiments and just put it on a simple white background. Also, you could die cut these from glitter paper and just have a really outstanding sentiment. I really love these, and I make a lot of thank you cards, so these two sets will be used often. And I will be doing a video with these very soon, so be sure to check back. I love sets with good handwriting and also love large sentiments, so these are great. Next is the Cute Critters stamp set, and definitely fits that name. I really like the handwriting on this set also. What I plan to do is get a little jar of some mixed nuts and then put a little tag on it that says Nuts About You with a little critter and give that as a teacher gift. I thought that would be super fun. These are also great, very simple images that are great for practicing watercoloring or Copic coloring. There is a matching die set that you can get, and check out the little mask that it comes in that little die set. Perfect for these little guys. Really fun, lots of things you can do with it. This is something that I have coming up next week on my blog, a video. This is actually another teacher gift where I die cut a little heart out of the center, but you can see how easy it was to color that with Copic markers. The next stamp set is the Diamonds and Dots borders. These are great because you can stamp them multiple times along a card to get a great background. You can do the plaid on the left, but I really love that dotted line kind of diamond pattern on the right. I think that'd be fun with like a tone-on-tone embossing on a note card, so just do clear embossing for some tone-on-tone color. Next we have the Many Thanks die set. This is what you get free if you spend $60 over on the My Favorite Things website, and I'll link to it here and in my YouTube description below. What I like about these dies is they're wide. So the font is very wide, so you could die cut this from, say, a patterned paper or something that you've stamped, and you'll be able to see the pattern. Or you could use the negative space, and you'll be able to see through the word to see what's behind it. So I really like when sentiments are this big and bold, and I definitely use the thanks message quite often. Next we have the Falling Leaves set, and this is a definite must-have. I like that they're realistic, and they also provide the embossed lines along the leaves to make them look even more realistic. These would be great to die cut from, say, watercolor paper, and then lightly put watercolor over the surface or rub distress ink on with an ink blending tool and really make those embossed lines kind of pop out. I think it'd be fun to use these to die cut from cork, wood, felt, or any other great unique textures. Next we have Fresh Cut Flowers. The nice thing about this die set is it also provides the embossing detail when you die cut with it. It's great for using up scraps, and I like that it cuts a bunch of different sizes and a bunch of different pieces all at once. I look forward to die cutting this from just white cardstock and then coloring the pieces with my Copic markers or with my colored pencils or watercolor to give them a lifelike look. And we can combine this with a clear die cut glass jar, which I'll show you in a little bit. This Packed with Positivity stamp set is fantastic for cards for kids, cards for teachers, or just a quick card for a friend, which I make a lot of. Now the nice thing about this is the sentiments are nice and bold, so you could stamp these and then use a fun, colorful embossing powder and keep the card very simple. The My Favorite Things Lunchbox Die Set that you see here on the left, it happens to have a die in there that I think is fantastic. This rounded rectangle one that also die cuts little dots around the edge for a nice finishing touch. Look how well it fits all the sentiments in this stamp set. You could see how easy it would be to create a quick note card for a kid's lunch or a tag for a teacher gift using this die. This stamp set just has a lot of great encouraging messages that work for friends also, and you can create a really simple card or team them up with some stamps that you already have. Now this die set, the Lunchbox Die Set, is really fun, and there are many things you can do with it. What I encourage you to do is to go over to the My Favorite Things YouTube channel, which I'll link to here, and you can watch a video on this die set and the many ways you can use it. This is from their website. They said I could use this. You can see that you can use this die set to create something like this with a little tag that you pull out of the top so it's interactive, and you can have a message on there and stamp something fun on the window on the front of the lunchbox. So it has all the pieces that you need. It even cuts the little slit to kind of tuck your little note card into it. Lots of things you can do with this because it has all the pieces there for you. You can make it simple or you can make it more complex and interactive. Really fun, and I think this will be fun to make for some kids. Every release, My Favorite Things comes out with a new die set they call Blueprints. This is Blueprints 19, and these blueprint sets are always filled with useful shapes that can be used for a variety of things in card making. This time it's got this large square shape with the fun die cut window in the center. The large shape is about 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, so this fits perfectly on a 5" by 5" square card. The nice thing about this is it's perfect to create a really quick and easy shaker card because it's got the die cut window in the center already for you. There's also a lot of other fun, useful shapes in there. They really squeeze a lot into this one set. I encourage you, if you've never looked at the Blueprints die sets, to check out their website and see all the different blueprint sets that they have to offer. Many of them have great useful shapes that work on many cards. I look forward to using that large window to create a winter shaker card with some fun snowflake sequins in it. I'll have that large window in the center of the card, and then I'll just glue a stamped image on the front with a sentiment. The Pinked Edge Rectangle Stack Set, that's a hard one to say. I think this one would be fun to die cut from felt or fabric to kind of give you that homemade feel that you get with that pinked edge. Very easy to create just a simple backdrop for a stamped image. Next we have the Proof Positive Coverall. Now these dies are designed to fit nicely on the front of a note card. So it measures, I think, about 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's perfect for a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. So you could die cut this from white cardstock and allow some fun colors to show through, or you could die cut this from a piece of scrap plastic and use it as a stencil. You could also have a lot of fun with it by doing the die cut inlay technique and put lots of different colors in all those little spaces. Now we have the Out on the Limb stamp set and die set. These are nice because you can use them separately or together. I'll probably use them separately because I think that's a great die set too. I really like the sentiment on the stamp set that says, you always go out on a limb for me. It's a great one for a friend. You could use the circles together on that tree, or you just stamp that giant leaf image on the top right all at once, and quickly you'll have your tree assembled. This would be great to use with lots of the fun new embossing powders that are out these days that are so inexpensive. Or you could even use it for an embossed resist technique with watercolor and have a beautiful sky behind it. You could make this look fall or spring if you wanted to. Earlier I mentioned it would be fun to die cut from plastic a glass jar. These are the die sets that I was referring to. There are 2 different mason jar type die sets and then a fun mason jar label stamp set that goes with it. There are some fun small sentiments on here that work great with these die sets or just with any kind of card. I love small sentiments. This die set here in the middle, it has the ice cubes that it cuts, the little lemon slice, and even the straw to make a fun little scene. The stamp set, or the die set on the left, has a bunch of little hearts and little butterflies to create a fun outdoor scene. You could even do like lightning bugs in the jar. The nice thing is each die set has a label die that matches up with some of the stamp labels on the stamp set. So all 3 of these work together very nicely. Those glass jar dies, by the way, would also be great for popular shaker cards that everybody's doing right now. I wanted to show you I used the heart die from that last stamp set to create this tag here to die cut the heart from the center. And these stamps are actually from this new Class Act stamp set. And I'll have a video, by the way, on those tags next week. I really love the book stamp image in the center, and you put that little apple on top of it. There's a variety of sentiments that work great for teacher cards or for your kids or for cards for your kids to give to their friends. Again, these are great images to practice coloring. We have the Copic markers for card makers class coming up over on online card classes. I'll link to it here. And these are great images for practicing for that class. And again, you can get the dies to go with the stamp set if you wanted to. I also used the simple image, the little ruler and the U rule sentiment for this tag for a teacher gift, which again, I'll be showing you next week on my blog. Now I do want to mention there are a few products from this release that I don't have. Like I don't have one of the stencils, but here are the stencils I do have. Jumbled letters. I think it would be so fun to mask off certain letters. So you can just mask off the area just to spell out a word and put embossing paste or texture paste over it to really create a fun personalized card. You could even just ink over it if you wanted to, or you can use a stencil as a whole and create a fun background. The diagonal bar stencil is up next. I've always been a big fan of chevrons, and I really like this is a very detailed stencil. You can see how fine it is. So you could really create a fun rainbow background with this stencil and really get a lot of ink onto your paper with very little white showing up. I really like stencils because they're an inexpensive tool you can use in many ways. Now the last few things in this release are the new background stamps. I like these background stamps because they're 6x6, so you can stamp them horizontally or vertically on a card. The first is the fine check background, which was the first one I stamped there. This is the burlap, and then we have the mini chicken wire. I'm just stamping a little corner so you can see what the image looks like when it's stamped. I love these big backgrounds, as I mentioned, because they can be horizontal or vertical. I really look forward to using the fine check for just a tone-on-tone background. The burlap will also be great for fall cards and maybe use some felt die cuts on it. So there you have the newest release from My Favorite Things. A lot of great products in there. Again, I missed a few of them, but this is most of everything. And I hope this video helps to decide if any of these products are right for you. If you're interested in the products, I link to multiple sources in my YouTube description below or over on my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com. And stay tuned for more videos using some of these great products. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you back very soon.